Do you want EU residency, global travel freedom, and potentially European citizenship, but you don't necessarily want to move somewhere full-time just yet? Well, the Portugal Golden Visa may be just your ticket. But unfortunately, there have been some major changes recently, and I'm about to tell you about some of those changes in this video to help you make up your decision as to which country makes the most sense for you to move abroad. Hi, I'm Justin, and if you haven't been following this channel for a while, on Entrepreneur Expat, we talk about everything related to moving abroad, establishing global citizenships, and living the life of your dreams in a country that might not be the one that you were born in. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you click that subscribe button and don't miss out on any of the cool content we're coming out with every single week about all the popular countries for expats around the world, especially Mexico, where my wife Amanda and I currently live. And if you're interested in diving in even further and learning more about how to move abroad, you're definitely going to want to check out our Moving Abroad checklist, where we go through the most important things that you want to make sure to bear in mind when you're actually making that leap. And if you're ready to take even more steps and you're like, hey, I've been watching you guys for a while, I'd like to get some one-on-one help, you can actually go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult, and you can request a consult with myself, Amanda, or our team, where we'll talk you through your individual requirements and the process that's going to be the easiest for you, as well as maybe some of the countries that would be easiest for you to become an expat in. So with all that said, let's jump right into it, which is, we get asked all the time by our high net worth investor clients, what are some of the best visas to get? And in fact, we even had one client recently who was considering this program, but they kind of pulled the rug right out underneath from him because he didn't quite move in time, and all of these new changes happened, and he ended up actually just saying, you know what, Mexico's a little bit of the more straightforward visas. They don't have the same types of requirements. So we ended up saying, you know what, maybe you should just look into Mexico. It might make more sense for you. But based on your unique requirements, your income, your net worth, different sorts of things like that, those are going to really determine what country and what type of visa really is the best fit for you. But no matter what, this is not getting easier, right? As time goes on, it's getting more and more complicated, whether you're here in Mexico like we are, whether you're looking at countries like Portugal, whether you're looking at countries like Spain, or perhaps even Southeast Asia, for example. I mean, Malaysia, Singapore, so many countries in Southeast Asia, for example, have gotten more and more difficult to immigrate to because of all these restrictions that they're putting on people, because those countries, frankly, they're getting their shit together, right? The US seems to be going a little like this, and a lot of other countries in the world are going a little bit like this in terms of just increasing their quality of life and becoming better places to live. So the requirements are getting harder and harder. So the key is, regardless of where you want to move to or what your financial or net worth situation is, the time to act is now. So again, you can go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. Obviously, you can watch our free videos and free content as well if you're not quite ready to make that leap. We do work with very select high net worth individuals through our consulting programs and relocation assistance programs. If maybe that's not you or that's not you yet, definitely still check out some of our free content as well as some of our guides, because we also have resources on making money online and things like that to actually help get your income up to the level where you can qualify for some of these visas. Now, what specifically is this Portugal Golden Visa from the beginning? Well, the Portugal Golden Visa was launched in 2012 to help ease the burden of that huge economic impact that happened in 2008 with that global financial crisis all around the world. They wanted to bring investors into the country, and they've been very successful in doing that. Up until this point, over $7.5 billion have been raised through the Portugal Golden Visa program. And the cool thing is, it also allows these non-EU residents to get EU residence and then a path to citizenship in 5 years by spending a very minimal amount of time in the country. In order for you to keep this golden visa, you only have to be in Portugal for 7 days a year, which is really cool. And of course, One of the things that this visa gives you is visa-free access to 29 countries in the Schengen territory, so you can travel all around the Schengen part of Europe, completely visa-free without having to get like any other entrance permits or anything like that. That's obviously one of the top benefits. You don't have to spend very much time in the country to keep that visa, so if you're just doing it, let's say, as a path to a citizenship, not only do you not have to be there, you can just kind of wait out those 5 years and then get your European citizenship in Portugal, but you're also not considered a resident, tax resident in Portugal unless you spend over 183 days per year in the country. And then after those 5 years, once you have that Portuguese citizenship, not only will you have visa-free access to all the countries in the Schengen territories, but you'll also have visa-free access to 191 countries with that Portuguese passport all over the world, which is also really cool in terms of travel. So those are some of the basic benefits and reasons to get the Portuguese golden visa. Now, what are the changes that just happened in the last 2 years? Specifically right now, we're in about the middle of 2025, and they recently introduced changes. The biggest changes here were that they no longer count real estate transactions and capital transfers. So that means if you were just planning on funding a business or you were buying a piece of property that was worth around 500,000 euros, you used to be able to get credit for that to go towards that Portuguese golden visa. Unfortunately, now they're making it much stricter, and those sorts of things are no longer counting. There's a whole bunch of different alternative routes, but for the most part, they involve not necessarily handing your money to the government, but putting it in investments where it is tied up. And it's not the same as a real estate purchase where you're getting the full benefit of also owning a property. Now, one of the reasons that we've heard for this, of course, is there have been in certain towns and cities, a lot of residents have been complaining that, hey, they're being displaced or property values are going up because of all the people coming in on the golden visa program. So that was one of the things for sure that Portugal wanted to curtail. So here are some of the other pathways that you can use to be able to qualify still for the visa. You could invest 500,000 in what's called an alternative investment fund. So that's a qualifying investment that the Portuguese government says you can invest your money in. So 500,000 euros in a qualifying fund that is not real estate based, and you can actually choose between low, medium, and a high risk depending on your risk profile, but you do have to keep that in that investment fund for a certain period of time. You could also create 10 or more full-time jobs in Portugal as a business owner, but it's not just, hey, we'll open like a shell company there. You have to actually create full-time jobs. So you're creating real employment in the country. You can donate 500,000 or invest 500,000 euros to accredited institutions. You can create a business, but you need to actually put in 500,000 euros into that business and also hire 5 permanent staff. So the difference is job creation, you have to create at least 10 or more full-time jobs in Portugal, or in a business, you need to invest that 500,000 euros into that business in Portugal and then also hire those 5 permanent staff. So depending on the type of business or the investment profile of that company, the financial profile, one of those options might make more sense for you. You can also donate 250,000 euros, or in some cases 200,000 euros, to cultural production. So these are like philanthropic types of cultural funds that you can donate to. But you can no longer do the 1.5 million euros capital transfer where you're just moving money from the US or Canada or wherever your home country is to Portuguese bank accounts. And you can no longer qualify with real estate purchases or real estate funds as well, because they're trying to protect those for the most part for people that are native Portuguese. In terms of the process for applying and getting approved for this visa, it is relatively straightforward. You need a criminal background check, you need your passports, proof of actual investment in Portugal, and there's approximately a 6-month period of time from when you apply to when you actually have that visa issued. You want to renew this every single year, so they're annual renewals for 5 years. After those 5 years are up, there's a few things you need to know. So first of all, those 5 years, fortunately, because the Portuguese process for citizenship and residency and everything else is very slow, the 5 years starts at the time of the application date, which means, let's say that you apply for this Portuguese golden visa now, and maybe they take 4 or 5 or 6 months or more to process that visa. The good news is the citizenship will actually start at the day that you applied. So that's kind of a nice little perk, especially when you're dealing with certain European bureaucracies, which may not be the most efficient in terms of time and things like that. You do need to demonstrate a level of Portuguese that's at the A2 level. So perhaps you're taking a test or a certified course to demonstrate that you have met that language requirement. You've got to have a clean criminal record and, of course, no outstanding taxes to the Portuguese government. It's really pretty straightforward with those things. In 5 years of your application date, you should be able to get Portuguese citizenship for you and the rest of your family as well. So some of the eligibility requirements are you've got to have all the documents legalized and translated, in some cases apostilled. You've got to have that qualifying investment. You must have a clean criminal record in your country of origin, and you must be a non-EU national. Although if you were already an EU national, I don't really see a reason why you would need Portuguese citizenship in the first place. So those are the new requirements, along with all the changes and things that they have put in place to perhaps make this more difficult for some people, but still accessible for others, depending on what you would like to do, your lifestyle, as well as, hey, maybe living in Europe is really important. And unfortunately for people that might not quite meet those requirements, the requirements in the EU typically tend to be higher, let's say, than in Latin America. So let us know in the comments, do you think that these changes will, let's say, prevent you or someone you know from applying for that Portuguese golden visa? Are you interested in applying for this for another country, perhaps? And also, if you're looking to get started on this today, we have immigration consultants and lawyers all over the world, including Portugal, in our extensive network. So you can go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult, book a call with our team there, and maybe it's Portugal you end up going to, maybe it's Mexico where we are. Of course, we're a little biased. Maybe it's Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica. There's so many other countries in the world. Maybe it's somewhere in Southeast Asia. So we're going to help to guide you in that free consultation. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, stay tuned for the next video. We're pumping out exciting content about being an expat all over the world every single day. And follow us on Instagram as well if you're not already. Definitely reach out to us if you're interested in moving forward with one of these residencies, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.